Wow, that was pretty profound. Maybe, can I scoot this back further? That was pretty scary.
Yeah.
But I think if I read it correctly, they're going to use that for a video game. What do you think about that?
Depends if it's free or not.
Yeah.
Even then, it's kind of a little strange.
I know. I mean, I'm fascinated by it. Who isn't? That's, a huge ship that went down, and, but making money off of things like that. This is somebody's death, somebody's horror.
Yeah.
Like that whole 9/11 thing, and probably it's not going to pick up the light well. That's a little better. Your arm okay?
Yeah.
Okay, we can switch off, and I can hold it too. Yeah. I just have a problem with making money off of something like that. Don't you?
Yeah.
It should be sacred.
Yeah.
And it's not like they can give money to the victims' families or something, because I think a lot of them have come and gone, and
yeah.
So, what is the point of it all then? It just seems kind of odd.
Yeah.
And if they're making a video game, I don't understand that. To me, that doesn't seem right. I think that's what I read. I don't know, I have to read it again, because I might have misunderstood that completely. But, let the dead bury the dead. That means just let's let it rest. The dead are dead. Let that stay. Keep it sacred.
Let's see. Well, I'm not sure if anyone knows why that happened with the boat sinking. As far as I can tell, it was about they decided that they wanted to try and make headlines, and they pushed the boat to go too fast, and then they couldn't slow down, and they hit the iceberg.
Yeah.
And then the next problem was that they were not set up to deal with a situation like that. They didn't have enough lifeboats because they wanted to fit more people or something.
Well, they didn't want to take up room, and vanity. They wanted to look prettier, and I don't get it. If you watch the video, we couldn't watch the whole thing. We just kind of skipped a little bit here and there. But it gets a little dicey around an hour and 50 minutes-ish. It's interesting because you can watch it on the outside, and it looks very calm and peaceful as opposed to what James Cameron did with the film, right? Yeah. I mean, he made that whip out there like within 45, 50 minutes, and it actually took about 2.5 hours for the whole sinking process. And it looks so placid and calm, and there are hundreds, thousands, like 1,500, 1,600, whatever, lives that are trapped or not allowed to escape. And from the outside, it looks so different, but you don't see what's going on in the inside, all the turmoil. So they cut to the inside, and you can see the dining room and the grand staircase fill up with the water. And I'm like, wow, so much tragedy happening on the inside, which reminds me of a special little bee fly friend. What she puts out on the outside versus what's going on inside could be totally different.
Yeah.
But don't sink, bee fly. Use this as an analogy. Watch it, especially the last, half an hour or so. You can skip a little bit. The last 10 minutes, definitely watch, because that's, it was talking about imploding.
Yeah.
And you could hear it sinking, apparently, even after you couldn't see it on the surface anymore. It's sinking into oblivion and darkness. Okay, bee fly, that's not where you're supposed to go. Life preserver, remember? Weird how this kind of came full circle-ish tonight with Full circle, huh? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm dropping the hints now.
Mm.
I saw that today.
Yeah.
Which they obviously got from watching my video hinting at the full circle thing. I got it. Got it. The circle's not done. Oh, by the way, the circle, not done. I thought it was. It hasn't come full circle yet.
Mm-mm.
There's this big gaping hole. The only person who's going to bring it full circle is Jesus. That hasn't happened yet. Just FYI.
Yeah.
But me too, in my carnal sense of it all, said that. It's not even full circle. Not even finished yet. Too much undone, unsaid. Okay, anyway, so getting back to the Titanic thing. This is just an amazing video. But if it's used for gain, profit, and stuff, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I think it's an ethics thing. I don't think that people should be allowed to do that. To make money off and profit off of somebody's death and tragedy like that. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to see how intense it was getting inside. And you would not know it. And the outside is slowly sinks from the outside. People can slowly witness it. And it's just like a drowning. You know, when you were drowning, it's very peaceful. There's no splashing, no sounds. If I didn't say anything, you would have died.
Yeah.
I would have jumped in and got you somehow. I don't care if it would even cost my life. I would have got you. But it was so peaceful. Hold on a second. Can you? Or no? Do you need me?
Yeah, hold it.
Me?
Yes, please.
And, it is just so amazing. It's the drowning of a ship. And it was pride that sunk the ship. I'm so convinced of it. You know, you guys may have a difference of opinion, which is fine. And, you know, it's all pretty much valid. But looking at the facts, looking at the eyewitnesses, the testimonies, and the people who created this ship, and the money. It's always about the effing money. Which reminds me of a certain other place.
Yeah.
Lives, 1,500 lives were lost because they were worried about something else other than human life. They wanted to look good. The elitism. I loved how Cameron took that opportunity to talk about the social classes and the discrepancies and everything. And it's always the elitists, it seems like, that end up killing people. You notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that saying?
Says they're crazy.
They're prideful. Very prideful. Before Lucifer fell, he went insane. He thought he was better than God and more powerful than God. He went crazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a problem there. All sin in humanity mimics the pride of Satan and his downfall and his sin, his arrogance, his all of it, his greed, his lust, his want. Anybody that follows God mimics the fruit of the Spirit, good godly traits, you know. But yeah, I think it was the sin of pride that sunk that ship. The sin of pride. Obviously, that's not a good thing. Who could say it was? And people say, "Oh, it was human error." No, let's call a spade a spade. It was pride. It was sin.
Yeah.
Greed too, big time greed. You know, people want money. Want money. Well, what would you do? Would you do this? Most of us, I would hope, say no. What would you do? And would you cost people's lives? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Would you build a house out of glass in earthquake country and maybe cut some corners, knowing that maybe their children, elderly, whoever, maybe you have a big house, maybe it's a community house,
Themselves.
thinking, oh, pretty, 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 oh, you can make these cuts, shortcuts, you know, shave off some of the money and the expenses. Sure, that's being wise with your budget, thinking, even God can't sink this ship, even God can't bring this building down. That's what the people who built the Titanic thought. That's what a lot of people thought with a lot of other things in our humanness and our world. And what happened? They were brought down. Pride, 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 pride. Why does everything have to be big, big, big? Why? Who says big is better?
The only people that had to blame were themselves.
Huh?
All they had to blame were themselves. They decided to do it, and they hit an iceberg.
Yeah. Indirectly or directly murdered 1,500 people. Manslaughter, murder, but lawsuit.
Yep.
Many. So, you know, too small a rudder, too big a ship, too small a rudder. They cut corners, saved money, get it faster. Well, you're not going to be able to stop the ship if it's going that fast.
Yeah.
Why build houses made of glass in earthquake country? Same thing. B-Fly, pay attention. It is not wise. Brick. Was that fiber? Well, the brick and the way it's made, the brick buildings. That's safer. Except for the roof. Your turn. You know this concussion that I had? Because I was trying so hard to, you know, be a team player today and put my head down. Because of that, it just shifted everything here. My brain just...
Yeah.
It's very painful. Okay, so, yeah. So why... Here, let's get comfortable. We're just... Let me let some air in here. It's getting too hot. Oh.
What was that?
A nighttime butterfly.
Oh.
No joke.
A moth.
A moth. Even the moths follow me. It doesn't fail. Okay. Yeah. So, it's very important for us to reflect on our history and our past, because we cannot learn unless we stop and look. Okay, so this video hopefully will serve that purpose. But I know people in modern day time and everything, they're still building houses out of glass. They're still trying to build the bigger and better machine or whatever, and then people die and they're surprised.
Yeah.
Pride doesn't need to be big for it to be better. Who's saying big is better? I don't understand this concept. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's roll it back a little bit. Okay, we have a huge vehicle. Why? Because your dad was in an accident and it screwed up his spine, and we're like, never again are we going to have a small enough vehicle to screw us over physically.
Yeah.
That's rational. It's protection. That makes sense. It's not like, you know, we bought a Lexus, which, I mean, our Toyota does the same thing. I'm not saying if you buy all these things it's bad, but, you know, we saved money. It was frugal, but we get the same thing, if not better. These are very, very safe vehicles. Toyotas, they're wonderful. You know.
Yeah.
So safe. My poor little head. But, you know, beating me up. But it kept us safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we weren't buying it to be boastful or to be, we could have gotten a Hummer. I think that would have made a mistake. We had the money. We could have done that. But, no, we decided, let's just be humble. Let's be safe. We checked all the crash test ratings right?
Mm-hmm.
And we thought this through very carefully. Now, we were concerned about safety. That was the number one thing, safety. It wasn't all about the sports car. I mean, we could have gotten whatever we wanted at that time, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't about that. It was totally about safety. We were making wise choices. It looks cute. I mean, it's nice. I like it. Pain in the rear end to park. But, cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was not happening with the RMS Titanic at all.
No.
Obviously, because they have different classes. Poor people, you go down with the sewer rats. The rich people, you can go here. Hold on, it's not catching the light.
Oh.
Shoot, I don't know what we could do to read it. Oh, screw it. How's your arm?
Hurting.
Let's figure this out. So then, here. I don't know what to do, son.
Yeah. Why not?
Here, pop it in a little bit. Okay, so, right. What was I saying?
Classes.
Yeah, so obviously, frustrating. So obviously it was not about, getting people transported from one place to another.
It's...
I don't know. It was about showing off.
Yeah.
It wasn't about protecting. It wasn't about... It was just done for the wrong reasons. And then one thing led to another, which led to another, which led to another, and it was a catastrophe. 1,300, 1,500, whatever people, a lot of people died. I mean, that's cataclysmic. That's very 9/11-esque. That's another thing with the big buildings. And I'm like, why do we need that? I don't understand the necessity. Well, Long Island, Manhattan, everything's built up. There's no place to build out. You save room that way. Could we and can we do certain things? Sure. But should we needs to be in play, right?
Yeah.
Am I asking the right question and phrasing it the right way? Yes.
So.
Can we? Well, sure. We can build a tower from here up until whatever we want to do. God put that down. Tower of Babel, check it out. Read the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could we? Can we? Well, God even deemed it, yeah, you guys can do anything you want, obviously. We have great minds. We're overachievers. We work hard. Always have to ask, should we? Yeah, we can go into outer space. Cool, but should we? We could do this, but should we? Count the cost before you leap. What are possible consequences? And sometimes things happen and you can't imagine what would happen. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you could only do so much. But when you are knowingly cutting your budget, being greedy, being mindless, being someone who's not thinking about other people,
Yeah.
catastrophe happens. On a smaller scale, larger scale, there's everything in between, too.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
They were foolish. And people are just going to do the same thing over and over.
Why do you think this happens? Why don't we learn?
I don't know. Sinful people. That's all.
Yeah. I just don't know. And I made mistakes too, but... Glass houses, I'm telling you, when I first heard, I'm thinking, this is not going to go down well. Beautiful, intelligent, creative, lovely in every way, visual eye candy. But let's stop and think. Earthquake country, is it really worth it to test the gods or nature or whatever you want to call it? Is it really wise? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Remember, I don't know if this actually happened, but James Cameron put it in the Titanic movie. Even God himself cannot sink the ship. Right?
Yeah.
And then later on, that came full circle by that other guy saying, she's made of iron, sir. I assure you she will sink.
Yeah.
You know, right to the bottom. And you want to build glass houses, live in glass houses in earthquake country. Not you.
Yeah.
You mean, like, se in Spanish, it means collective, generally speaking. You meaning generally speaking, no specific person. But, yeah. Hey, look, I gave a heads up, and I personally warned. And I'm like, that's not smart. Don't do it. Oh, but it passes this inspection, that inspection. I'm like, okay. All these other buildings and freeways and things that came down passed inspections too. Are earthquakes changing? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so you made structures safer and safer and safer. That is not the only thing you gotta worry about here. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know how else to help with that. You can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
But why is it that people always they lust after money, they lust after position, and they don't care whom they hurt to do whatever it is they got to do?
I don't know.
And then greed. A justification has to happen in somebody's head to make this stuff okay. It has to. Oh no, it'll be okay. Oh no, that'll never happen. And it does. It might not happen right away. It may take a long time, but it does happen. And it's unfortunate, it's tragic and sad, and innocent lives are lost or harmed. People really, really need to wake up here with what's going on. Be fly. Be careful. I don't know what else it is that you may have gotten yourself trapped in, but maybe my words come 15, 20 years too late. And that's nobody's fault. I certainly don't have anything to be blaming myself for, but maybe the watchman came too late. Or look back, maybe there were others that came before me that said, be careful. Or you too may be on a sinking ship. Very appropriate that we found this in the searches. It was just so random.
Yeah.
You were so insightful before and you had so much to say, and now you don't say anything.
I thought I said everything.
No, there was something else. You were like really on a roll, and you had grasped something that I'd never thought of before with this, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Maybe I can help you remember.
if they had not been prideful, or if they had not pushed the ship to go faster, or if they just did at least one thing right, all of that would not have happened.
Yeah, yeah. One thing, huh?
Any one thing.
Same thing with the glass houses. If they would have done just one thing right. Personally, I'd rather go for safety than aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
Or headlines. Or whatever else it is they think.
Yeah.
Pray for the innocent. What else can you do? Alright. I'm hungry again.
Okay, let's go get food.
Okay. Well, sending love to you know who. Good night.